The smell of lilacs had hung in the house ever since Father disappeared, thick, suffocating, like a funeral wreath. Mother placed bouquets in every room, on the nightstands, on the window sills, even in the bathroom, where Dad's razor still lay by the sink, covered in dust, to chase away the dampness, she said. But I knew the truth. The lilacs were masking the smell of something else, something that seeped through the cracks in the old basement walls, sweetish and heavy, like spoiled meat. I woke in the middle of the night to a sound, not a scream, not a knock, to silence, in the house, which always groaned, creaked, and sighed with its old beams. A dead, waxy silence had suddenly fallen. Even the clock in the living room had stopped. I slid out of bed, bare feet sticking to the cold floor. Yellow light spilled from the crack under Mother's bedroom door. And voices, Mother's voice, flat and smooth, like a knife, doesn't understand, too small to remember. I didn't recognize the second voice, male, low, rasping, as if the speaker was choking on nails. Children feel it, he knows, saw it. I pressed my ear to the wood, my heart hammered, like a bird in a cage. What had I seen? Fragments of memory. Father's face in the basement doorway, twisted by something worse than anger. The white robe that Mother put on the next day. Paint, she said, but a brownish stain showed at the collar. He saw nothing. Mother's voice grew sharper. And if he did, he'll forget. Children forget. Or they are made to. Silence thickened again. Then the creak of a chair. Footsteps, slow, heavy, heading towards the door. I jerked back. My heart sank to my heels. I slipped into my room, froze behind the door. The footsteps passed by, went downstairs to the basement. That's where the smell lived. The next morning, Mother smiled, poured me milk, gave me a warm croissant. Did you sleep poorly, Sunshine? Her eyes, usually warm like cocoa, were flat and shiny, like buttons on an old coat. Just silly dreams, I mumbled. She stroked my hair. Her palm was cold. It's just us, right? You'll always be with Mama. I nodded, unable to swallow the lump in my throat. Children were playing outside. Their laughter reached me, as if from another world. That evening, when Mother fell asleep in front of the TV, head thrown back, mouth slightly open, I took a flashlight, Dad's old one, heavy, like a club. My heart pounded so hard, it felt like my ribs would crack. Every step on the basement stairs creaked, like a death rattle. The air grew thick, the sweet stench of lilacs mixed with that smell. Rot. Honey. Left in the sun. The basement was a kingdom of shadows. The flashlight beam picked out piles of old junk, crates of preserves, rusty tools, Dad's fishing rod, and Bo. A doll. My sister's doll. Little Anya. She sat on a barrel. Glass eyes glittering in the beam. But Anya died 3 years ago. From an illness, Mother said. Her dolls were burned. I stepped closer. It wasn't a doll. 2 figures, identical, in little blue dresses, sitting side by side, hand in hand, hair made of hemp, cheeks of pink fabric, but around one neck, a black thread, digging tightly into the skin, and around the other neck, the same. They smiled with painted mouths. Cold crept up my spine. I remembered Anya and that girl 3 summers ago, the red-haired, freckled one from the house across the road. She played with Anya. Then, crying behind the wall, Dad's shout, "What have you done, Mother? wiping her hands on her apron. The white robe, the red-haired girl vanished, moved away, the grown-ups said. The flashlight trembled in my hand. The beam fell on the wall behind the barrels, a dark stain, large, uneven, as if someone tried to scrub it away. Next to it, scratches, deep, like claw marks, and a handprint, a tiny palm. Thud. I flinched. The sound came from inside the wall, a dull, wet thump, as if someone was hitting the plaster with a blunt fist. Thud, thud. The smell hit my nose, fresh, coppery grit. Fear locked my legs. Thud, closer, right behind this wall. I raised the flashlight. The plaster was fresh, uneven, rough layer, slapped over the old. Thud! A chunk of plaster cracked off, fell to the ground. In the black hole, something white stirred. A finger. A knuckle? What are you doing here? Mother's voice sounded right at my ear. I screamed. The flashlight fell. The light went out. Darkness closed in, thick and blind. Cold fingers dug into my shoulder. I told you, sunshine. Her breath smelled of lilacs and something sour. The basement is no place for children. It's damp. You could get sick. She dragged me up the stairs. I glanced back into the blackness. From there, from the hole in the wall, came a faint, scratching sound, as if someone with tiny nails was scrabbling at the brick and crying. A faint, child's cry. Hip me. The whisper merged with the creak of the steps. I was sick the next week. A fever, the doctor said, squinting at Mother. She nodded, stroked my head, her palm still icy. At night I heard footsteps, down to the basement and back, sometimes muffled thuds, an axe, a crowbar. One night, I woke up. Mother stood by the window, a large kitchen knife in her hand. Moonlight slid along the blade. She wasn't looking at the yard, but inside the house, at the wall, the one adjoining the basement. They won't leave, she whispered into the dark. Never leave. Making noise, always making noise, keeping me awake. She turned, saw me watching, smiled. The smile was wide and empty, like a hole in the ground. Sleep, sunshine. Mama will fix it. Mama will make them be quiet. Forever. The next day, workers came. Basement repairs, Mother said. They brought sacks of mix, roofing felt, all day, banging, thudding. The sound of a jackhammer rose from below. I sat in the kitchen, doodling, with a red pencil. Walls, little hands inside. That evening, Mother was tired, but pleased, poured herself wine. Her eyes gleamed. It will be quiet now, she said, looking right through me. Very, very quiet. That night, I went down. The new layer of concrete on the basement floor gleamed in the dark, like a black mirror. The walls were smooth, freshly plastered, clean, no stains, no scratches, no holes. The silence was absolute, tomb-like. Even the house stopped creaking. I walked over to that wall, pressed my palm against it. The concrete was cold and dead. And then I felt it. Not a sound, a vibration, a dull, barely perceptible tremor coming from deep within the wall, as if something was beating, frantically, hopelessly. Thousands of tiny blows, tiny fists, heads, and the smell. Fresh concrete, dust, and far, far beneath it all, that sweetish, familiar, coppery tang. I pressed my ear to the cold surface. Thump, 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 rhythmic, insistent, like a heartbeat. Not one, many. I recoiled. Air whistled out of my lungs. In the basement silence, that sound was louder than a scream. Mother would hear. She always hears. Upstairs, a door creaked. Footsteps, unhurried, confident, coming down the stairs. A flashlight beam fell from above, blinding me. "Sunshine." Mother's voice was soft, like a velvet noose. "Are you down here again?" I froze, back against the new wall. In front of me, only her, and the black, freshly poured floor, reflecting her flashlight beam, like a bottomless pit. She took a step down, another. The smile on her lips was warm, motherly.